Well, I'm usually pretty optimistic on the channel and usually try to find the positives in things, despite the negativity that has surrounded a lot of the announcements from Halo Infinite and the backlash from the community. I've remained quite positive about the game, and I remain optimistic on how good I think this game is going to be. I haven't been disappointed yet in a Halo. I've been disappointed with aspects of almost each Halo, but I've never not found something to enjoy in a Halo game. So it has that going for it. I don't think Infinite's going to be any different, especially after playing the multiplayer flight. However, the newest announcement from 343 is really baffling to me, and we are going to deep dive it later in the video. So if you guys want to stick around for that, that'll be towards the end, and we'll get to my thoughts and opinions on it, because this kind of thing really does resonate with me a lot more than something like Forge being delayed or co-op being delayed, because I know those features need more time. This is something that's literally going to affect every single match you play in Halo Infinite's multiplayer, which is where I will be spending most of my time after beating the campaign, of course. But the latest Inside Infinite update is now live for August of 2021. 343 goes over some cool details from the flight, what they've learned from the technical test, and some of the things that they're implementing towards the next technical test. And we even get an update on Halo Infinite's campaign from Joe Staten himself. So for all those who are wondering why we got no campaign gameplay, I've already told you the reason why, but Joe went into a deeper dive on why we as a fan base should still be excited to play and to see gameplay of this campaign. So we'll talk about that as well. Thank you guys so much for coming to the video. Click the like button to support future Halo news content, and subscribe if you're new here and you want to stay absolutely up to date on all the latest happenings in the world of Halo. So the first thing I want to go over is Forge, and something that I thought was really cool, because it's one of my main gripes with Forge maps in previous Halo games. They stick out like a sore thumb. They all look the same. And with Halo Infinite, 343 said the long-term benefit of the systems that they have in place is that their community development tools are various in components through Forge and custom game settings, so that they can empower the community to build more content that feels more real alongside the things that are built by the team at 343. And that's really exciting to me. The next thing 343 talked about that was really important was the radar in the Halo Infinite technical test, something that I offered feedback on in my video on my impressions of the game. I did not like the implementation of the radar. Basically, the way radar works in Halo Infinite is when you sprint, you will appear on radar, but if you're just walking at a normal base movement speed, you will not appear on radar, so no need to crouch anymore to hide off the radar. I honestly didn't like this, and it really didn't become apparent to me that I didn't like it until PvP was activated for those couple of hours. So when playing against the bots, I didn't really notice the changes that they made to the radar, but when I was facing real players, it was apparent that it was a change that I wasn't really comfortable with. Could take some more time to get used to. I thought that maybe it should just go back to the old system, or just go on ahead and remove radar, which could be a competitive settings option. And with the base player movement speed so high in Halo Infinite, especially compared to the sprint speed, you have no incentive to sprint at all, so that way you could stay off the radar, and people were pulling up on my flank constantly. However, long story short, 343 was eager to learn feedback from the community on the differences in the radar system, and they said they have a new iteration that will be in the next technical test, which will be more in line with players' expectations. So I'm eager to see what kind of changes they have made. As far as the Spartan chatter, you know, the infamous over yonder quote, they said that they've identified the biggest pain points and added a buffer so that these same events aren't commented on over and over, so you should hear less repeated lines from a Spartan in a match. Another feature that will be ready for the next technical test is being able to preview the voices of the personal AI in the customization menu. 343 said they also tweaked some of the ranges in the weapon drills, especially for shorter range weapons like the Bulldog, and they also saw some opportunities to improve readability with the targets and introduce new target behaviors, so they said to be on the lookout for those in the future. Not quite sure what that means, but will be interesting to see on the next flight. Now, some notes on the bots and their behaviors from 343. They said they identified a number of bot behaviors they wanted to improve coming out of the preview, but two areas of focus for them were rebalancing their difficulty tuning and improving how well bots prioritize contesting powerful weapons on the map. They said that the difference between the Spartan Spartan and ODST bots should feel like a significant increase in difficulty, which wasn't something that happened in the technical preview build according to them, and I also agree. I almost think that the ODST bots were slightly better than the Spartan bots in some instances of a firefight. Now 343 also noted that the bots tried to run in a pack and all get the same weapon at once, and they are exploring solutions for getting the bots to spread out and search for weapon pickups without competing with one another. Now, a certain feature that was not in the technical preview build, but something that they're experimenting with in studio, is allowing these Spartan bots to communicate with one another about certain gameplay events, like the location of enemy players, which would be really interesting to see how they each react. 343 said that they'll continue to iterate on the challenge and tuning of each difficulty for the bots as they get more player feedback, but they may also introduce new levels of difficulty over time based on what players are interested in seeing from bots. Another thing that 343 is working on is the predictability off the initial spawn for the bots. Every map you would know exactly where they would be because they always rolled together and they always went to around the same spot, so if you were good enough you could get an easy double, triple, or even overkill. Another behavior 343 is looking into is when bots ignore important map pickups, so then they would really get behind in matches and it would make it hard for them to compete against players who were fully stocked up on power weapons and equipment. 343 really went into a lot of detail about the bots, the systems in place, how they created them, what they are looking to do in the future. So if you guys want, I will do a separate video on that and really break it down for you guys. It would just make this video way too long, and some people might find all that kind of stuff boring, so let me know in the comment section if you guys would like to see that video in the future. The final thing that I want to go over before talking about the negative news, in my opinion, of this update is what Joe Staten had to say about the campaign. First things first, it does look like each season of Halo Infinite will feature some sort of cinematic or cutscene, much like we saw the Season 1 cinematic intro for the Halo Infinite multiplayer featuring Commander Agrina. But Joe Staten said, quote, "Before boarding my flight, I had a chance to read some of the commentary online, and I definitely hear the disappointment about not seeing campaign gameplay on the broadcast. So, I wanted to take this opportunity to 1. Shed light on why we chose not to show campaign right now, and 2. Assuage your concerns about where campaign is at this point in the production process. As I mentioned in last week's development update, the whole Halo Infinite team is in shutdown mode. This means we're done with feature work and focus on crushing high priority bugs. We're spending lots of time playing the game, verifying fixes, and generally doing all we can to ensure campaign and multiplayer plays great on all platforms, from an original 8-year-old Xbox One to a brand new ultra-spec PC. This is a very challenging task, even for a large and experienced team. In many ways, shutting down a game is like being on a final approach to landing an airplane. And if you'll forgive a bit of aviation geekery, the entirety of the team is essentially in a sterile cockpit, which is to say we're at a critical phase in the flight that is Halo Infinite. So it's extremely important to avoid distractions and stay focused on mission critical tasks only. For campaign, that means putting maximum effort into ensuring the wide open, adventure-filled experience you'll all get to play on December 8th is as great as it can possibly be. And gameplay demos and trailers not only take a huge amount of effort to do well, they also take cycles away from bugs and other shutdown tasks. I would like to share, however, that right before I left for LA, I had to pause a full playthrough of campaign that I started late last week. I'm going for a 100% run, which means completing all primary and secondary missions, finding all collectibles, etc. I've played Infinite's campaign multiple times, but every time I do, I always find something new tucked away on Zeta Halo. Sometimes these are quiet little bits of environmental storytelling, such as an abandoned but desperately defended Marine recon post, high on a lonely mountainside. Fortunately, the Banished missed the fully loaded S7 sniper rifle that the Marines left behind. And sometimes these are combat encounters with deviously polished scripting. For example, a UNSC forward operating base that seemed abandoned until I heard the laughter and taunts of multiple energy sword wielding and cloaked elites as I stumbled into their trap. I hope that all of you take comfort from the fact that honestly, I can't wait to get back home, fire up the build, and hit continue on the campaign. No matter how many times I play, Halo Infinite remains fundamentally super fun to play, and we're very eager to share all the fun with you through captured gameplay, trailers, and other content once we get this plane safely on the ground. But for now, it's focus time in the cockpit as we stick the landing. Please keep those seatbelts fastened, and thank you for your patience and support. And that is the end of the quote from Joe Staten. So let's talk about the Battle Pass, because it seems that there was some sort of miscommunication by 343, and Jerry Hook, the head of design at 343, went on to say that he miscommunicated on the live stream that 343 did a couple of weeks ago, saying that the Battle Pass system will always have a free and pay reward available at each tier. That just isn't true. There will not be free rewards at each tier. There will be free rewards throughout the entirety of that Battle Pass though, so there'll still be plenty to unlock for free. And he also acknowledged that there were problems with the challenge system in the technical preview. He also wanted to remind people that for the tech preview, they had expedited the XP earn rates to help players get through the Battle Pass in a short window of time. But my problem lies with not receiving XP at the end of matches. The only way to rank up the Battle Pass, and it was this way in the flight as well, is through your challenges, whether it be daily, weekly, seasonal stuff. You're not going to get stuff post-game. You're not going to get any kind of match completion bonus, so you're not incentivized to even finish matches. You're not going to get any performance bonuses like we see in MCC, even though that is a small performance bonus and the XP isn't really that drastic. It's still something to incentivize a player to try to do well. And this is really predatory to me, honestly, because we know it's a free-to-play game. However, you can buy tier skips for the Battle Pass, and you could buy challenge swaps. So with challenges being the only way to rank up your Battle Pass, they're trying to make the challenge swaps more appealing for people to buy, and I just really don't like that at all. We don't know if Halo Infinite is even going to feature any kind of social rank that we've seen in previous Halos, like Halo 3 had, like MCC has, like Reach had. If they aren't going to go that route, and the only reason that XP matters is towards the Battle Pass, then I really do think there should be some sort of system in place. Now, 343 does acknowledge that they are going to go back to the drawing board with this, and they did talk about this on Twitter. Jerry Hook responded to Ubernick, who was voicing some similar concerns, and he said that we hear you on this. Daily challenges for playing matches is the plan for launch, but we're always looking at ways to expand progression across the board. We'll have more to share about the outcomes from key tech preview feedback, including things like this, in an upcoming blog on Halo Waypoint. Now, there was some sort of glitch in the flight where when you completed daily challenges, you weren't getting any new ones, and Unishek was on Twitter saying that playing and winning matches will be part of the challenge system, which will help players progress through the Battle Pass. Even though this means no per match XP at launch, you're still always progressing through challenges and therefore the Battle Pass. And he said you won't have an infinite number of daily challenges to complete, but it will be extremely difficult to run out of daily challenges. Not impossible though, because there are some grinders out there, but he would be impressed if people were finishing those consistently. And another thing I don't like with the way this system is the double XP, and I believe those can be bought with money as well, or they're part of the Battle Pass. Either way, that costs money, so even if that is included as a reward in the Battle Pass, you're technically paying money for double XP tokens. And they lasted 30 minutes in the flight, and it's not like you're getting XP every match, so if your 30 minutes run out and you haven't completed a challenge, you just wasted a double XP token. So you have to really kind of find the best time to pop that token and then get a challenge complete in the allotted time to really take advantage of that double XP, and that seems predatory to me as well. And then you're gonna have the problem of people just trying to complete challenges in multiplayer matches, and every multiplayer match, when that is the only way to rank up your Battle Pass, people are going to be trying to go for those, and instead of playing as a team going for the win, if you have, hey, you get a certain amount of kills with this weapon, then go on ahead and do that. You're not gonna be playing with your team, you're gonna be going for those weapons. You might, even be trying to grief people who picked up the weapon that you wanted, that you need for a challenge. So it's gonna be really weird to see how they go on ahead and balance that. And I hope we don't see challenges like, hey, you have to play 3 matches of SWAT today, like things you don't want to do. If you don't like SWAT, you shouldn't have to play that to get XP towards your Battle Pass. And 343 already stated previously that they don't want Halo Infinite to feel like a chore to play, and that kind of flies in the face of that. MCC currently has this problem where you cannot get unlock tokens for seasons unless you're doing specific challenges, and some of those are the same ones every single week. You're having to do campaign stuff or firefight stuff, and I personally get really bored with firefights. So I don't want to have to do firefight every single week and do these 3 matches of firefight to get my tokens. I should be able to just play the game, play what I want to play, and earn progress somehow that way. So I really hope that they really go back to the drawing board with this kind of system. Yes, the Battle pass system is good. They're kind of blazing the path for that kind of system, especially against other games and how they implement their battle passes. But to say that you're player first and then design your system around the battle pass to go on and make players want to buy tier skips or double XP tokens or even challenge swaps, since that's the only way to earn XP, is just not good. Of course, I'll keep you guys updated when we know more information on this. Of course, 343 is probably going to go back to the drawing board because a lot of people are already talking about this. And they also said that another thing that they're going back to the drawing board on is how the medals are displayed in the game. There was a lot of feedback about that as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. So stay tuned to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new here, please. I'll keep you guys up to date. And I hope to catch you on either a previous video of mine or a future video of mine. Till that time comes, I'm your boy Patman, and I'm out.